Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna say it. I think Assassin's Creed Shadows has the best start of any Assassin's Creed game. Alright, let's back up. Shadows recently came out and I decided to give it a shot. I went onto the PlayStation Store and despite the ridiculous price tag, I still bought it because fuck being financially responsible. Now, this game has a lot of criticism around it, a lot of which I do agree with, but I also feel like this game does not get enough credit where credit is due, and I want to do that. To jump into why I think Assassin's Creed Shadows has such a good start, I want to break it down into a few parts. A few things that I think Shadows does just right to have such a good start to its story. Shadows does something very similar. In a chaotic feudal Japan, we are dropped in the middle of a battle in a village called Iga, and we are introduced to this with Yasuke's brutality. We see Yasuke hacking, slashing, and killing his way through waves of enemies in the middle of a burning village. And the game almost immediately contrasts this with Naoe's introduction, who's on the other side of this battle, and for her, it's all about survival. This stark contrast of the oppressed and the oppressor creates some really good tension here, and it got me interested in the story and what's going to happen next. Now, in any story, for a viewer to care about the protagonist is very important. And to achieve this, the protagonist must have a moment of vulnerability. We see Naoe as a young woman who's waiting for her chance to prove herself. And in this battle, her father gives her a task to secure a box from a nearby tomb, and he hands her the iconic hidden blade.
I need you elsewhere. Run to the Kufu, the mountain. The door will open. To this blade is a key.
What?
Inside the coffin is a box. Protect it with your life.
父上
You said you wanted help. Now is the time.
As he hands this to her, we see that it's very clear this is more than just a weapon to her. This is her chance to finally prove herself. And so off she goes and off we go to retrieve this box. But we are brutally knocked down by a samurai who steals the box. We fail, but then we go for it again. And this time we do it Assassin's Creed style, which is insane. She scales rooftops, glides through shadows, it's stealth, it's intense, it's very, very good. And it finally truly felt like an Assassin's Creed game. It brought back memories of playing Assassin's Creed Unity. And it scratched that nostalgic itch perfectly. Anyway, Naoe gets the box and she tries to escape, but Naoe's escape goes wrong as a few mercenaries ambush her and injure her. Her father comes to save her, but then 10 mysterious figures start to walk in towards us, and despite his strength, Naoe's father is no match for them. He is brutally left to die in front of Naoe as she lies there injured and helpless.
藤林長人
This becomes Naoe's defining moment, her canon event. The pain, the loss, the suffering, and the helplessness of it all really adds up. I was already interested in the story, but it was this point which got me to care about Naoe as a protagonist. And this leads me to my next point, which is creating some mystery. The group of people who were responsible for her father's death had their faces covered. The game tells us absolutely nothing about them. All we know is that they enter, they kill Naoe's father, and they leave. Naoe is filled with pain and loss, and all she wants to do is find answers, but she has no idea how or who to hunt. This is just enough mystery for the story to continue. And this is also the perfect time for the story to slow down a little bit and introduce us to the world of Assassin's Creed Shadows. Now, Japan here feels rich with its beliefs, rituals, and quiet introspective moments sprinkled throughout the gameplay. The world feels beautiful with this stillness between the chaos. But this beauty feels only skin deep because underneath all of this is betrayal, secrets, and a whole network of power hungry individuals. And Naoe does not really fit into this network. She's just a girl who's trying to make sense of her father's death. The pain is still very fresh and she hunts for more answers and finally finds a lead, one of the men responsible for her father's death. Now, this mission really sets the tone for the game. It defines Naoe as someone who moves through the shadows, sneaks by enemies in high tension moments, and strategically plans her movements to eliminate her targets. For this mission, we band together a bunch of allies. Kyonyu, whose temple got razed over by the enemy, Mitsumane, who has retreated to silence and given in to his pain and loss, and Yaya, a strong warrior monk.
Tonight, we end the destruction! We succeed! Or we die! Fighting!
The assault on this camp is brutal. Waves of enemies fall before us until we finally come face to face with the man we're there to assassinate. Naoe looks at the man who helped destroy her world and she demands answers. But this guy offers none. There's no guilt, no remorse, nothing. And in this moment, something breaks. This isn't an assassination. It's not a clean, honorable kill in the name of justice that we're used to seeing in previous Assassin's Creed games. This is personal. She strikes, but not as an assassin, as a grieving daughter who has waited far too long for this moment. After this, things take a darker turn. Mitsumane, who was usually the quiet, contemplative one, suddenly steps up, ready to execute a captured enemy without a second thought. It's cold and shocking, but it ends up in one of the most powerful scenes so far. The group starts to fall apart. They argue about justice and revenge and whether killing all of these people makes them any different from the people that they're trying to
No!
free.
This is Oda Nobunaga's way, not ours!
You give us blades. You tell us to defend the temple with our lives. Then you sign peace treaties with demons. Abandon us to slaughter. And right when I am on the edge of despair, you send her. Tell them these men don't deserve to live.
Anyone fighting for Oda Nobunaga deserves death.
You are fools! I fought to keep Mitsumune safe, but he is beyond saving. You all are. Is your doing.
Let these men go.
And right in the middle of all of this is Naoe. You can see it. She's not the same person anymore. She's not the girl chasing justice. She's turning into something else. Someone shaped by loss, by anger, and by everything that she's had to do to survive. The weight of vengeance is dragging her down, and you can tell that it's starting to break her. This moment really stuck with me long after the scene was gone. It makes you think of a lot of questions like, what is justice really? What is revenge going to do for someone like Naoe? And when all the killing is done, what's left of Naoe? Now, further down the story, we find ourselves plotting to eliminate Oda Nobunaga, the brutal tyrant responsible for the Battle of Iga, the man Yasuke was hired to protect. In classic Assassin's Creed style, even better than the previous mission, we infiltrate this castle and come face to face with Oda. An epic duel unfolds, and just as Naoe is about to land the killing blow, Yasuke intervenes. He overpowers her, but then he sees her hidden blade, and something in him changes. He doesn't kill her, he hesitates, and he lets her live. Nobunaga, who is now betrayed and cornered, he doesn't plead, he doesn't rage. Instead, he speaks as a man who knows it's over. He acknowledges his enemy's betrayal and with it his own failings. He says that he never sought power for himself but for a unified Japan.
It does not matter now. I am trapped. I cannot rule after such a failure. Mitsuhide thinks he will rule, but the others will not follow. The fight for our country must continue. It is up to others now.
And for a brief moment, we see this man talking not as a tyrant but as a visionary haunted by his own actions. Can we truly call him evil if he is just another player in this world who now included kills for personal motivations? Refusing to give the enemy satisfaction of executing him, Nobunaga turns to Yasuke. He orders him to finish it. But Yasuke hesitates. This was the man who freed him, who gave him purpose. But duty outweighed the sorrow, and with visible pain, Yasuke had to carry out the order. Yasuke strikes, and Oda Nobunaga is dead. We then see Yasuke approach Naoe for forgiveness, and this makes Naoe erupt with anger. But Yasuke explains why he thinks their destinies are intertwined. He tells her about what truly happened the night of the Battle of Iga. Yasuke fights a duel with Momochi's Sandaya, an elder from Naoe's village that she really respected. Yasuke wins the duel, and just before Momochi dies, he tells Yasuke about a girl from Iga who can wield the hidden blade. And when Yasuke finds her, he tells him to trust her and he tells him to help her. That's the reason Yasuke spared Naoe earlier that night. When Naoe learns that Yasuke was the one to kill Momochi, she bursts with anger and is about to bring her sword down on Yasuke brutally, but she's stopped by Junjiro. Now, Junjiro was a child who found Naoe the night her father died, and he helped Naoe heal. He's kind of an important character to Naoe, kind of like a little brother, but not important to the story that I am trying to tell. Anyway, a very impactful dialogue exchange takes place here that leads Naoe to finally accept her loss. She comes to terms with her pain and her mind gets clearer. She accepts Yasuke's proposal for an alliance. They go back to the hideout and speak about it. They form a team, and Naoe names this team the League of the Hidden Blade.
We are the League of the Hidden Blade, the Kakushibaiki.
It is an honor. One I will not take for granted.
United, always, in the Kakushibaiki. Come on, I want to show you something.
The story is filled with so many moments that reveal so much about Naoe and Yasuke, and all of these beats really come together to form a story that's heavy, intense, and exciting. The thing with characters in a story is it's like if you go out to survive in the wild, you're not taking everything with you, you're taking only what's most important to you. The story focuses so much on Naoe's pursuit for a purpose and how her pain and loss has shaped her every step of the way. We see her go from a girl without focus to being crushed by the weight of loss, and then we see her fighting her way to acceptance. Comes out of this story with a purpose and newfound strength, and I think this is a really good way to start a story like this. Now, Assassin's Creed franchise has been such a key part of gaming. If I look back and I ask myself why I play video games, Assassin's Creed is a big part of that answer. The classics in their prime, like AC2, 3, and Black Flag, those kind of games have defined so much for open world game design that we still see some of its effects in the most successful games today. Unfortunately, Ubisoft decided to drive this franchise to its death, and I will never appreciate them for this. The RPG trilogy didn't really click with anyone, myself included. And I wish I could say something different about Assassin's Creed Shadows. The truth is that after this arguably epic beginning, the game really starts to fall apart. With its open-ended and non-linear story structure, the story especially really starts to fall apart, and there's very little reason to play the game for its story. There's some other things that the game does well, I'll admit, but the criticisms that we are hearing about really come through here. We really get to see all of that. But that's a topic for another video. This is not an Assassin's Creed Shadows review. And I just wanted to talk about how great the start is because I really enjoyed it, and it was very good. Okay, so that was it for Assassin's Creed Shadows. If you want to see more of this kind of stuff where I talk about games and break down the stories and characters and just this kind of stuff in general, do consider subscribing. If you have some feedback for me, leave it down in the comments. Maybe like the video. I don't know. I've never done this before. Yeah, whatever, man. If you like it, you can subscribe. If you have feedback, just leave it for me in the comments. Cool. Bye.